Before using DentalLab, you must install QuickBooks and set up your company file with customers, employees, and items. You can also set up jobs if you are working with the dental groups, and vendors if you wish to create purchase orders based on cases. Please note that you should have a minimum of one customer, one employee, and one item in QuickBooks before you can synchronize it with DentalLab. Note that you do not have to create all of your customers and items to try DentalLab, but if you're ready to start entering real cases, it's best to completely set up all of your customers, employees, and items. Once you enter all required information into QuickBooks, you will be ready to start DentalLab. To start DentalLab, double-click on the DQB icon located on the desktop of your computer. If this is the first time you've started DentalLab, a configuration screen will appear. You may need to wait for the database to be installed. After this, a window will appear telling you that DentalLab needs to be configured. You should click the green Continue button and carefully follow and answer any messages or questions. For more information on connection, you can refer to the installation instructions provided in your folder. After DentalLab starts, it automatically synchronizes with QuickBooks. For example, you can go to the customer list in DentalLab and see that all customers in QuickBooks are automatically transferred to DentalLab. Please note that if you add a new customer, employee, vendor, or item in QuickBooks before launching DentalLab again, you will need to synchronize this information with DentalLab by clicking the Synchronize link in the Options section of the main menu in DentalLab. Before you can proceed to case entry, you will need to prepare some information. The information types can be found in the Basic List section of the main screen of DentalLab. You will need to establish at least one work center for scheduling, review the customers and items to add or edit further information applicable for case management, such as the standard number of days to ship or whether or not an item is billable. For scheduling, you will be setting daily limits and then tracking cases by work centers. Some typical examples of work centers are preparatory, crown and bridge, dentures, and waxing. You can also choose to set up departments or even individual technicians as work centers. Please refer to the next section of this tutorial for details on how to set up your work centers. Optional entries for your specific lab include doctor materials for case enclosures, tooth shades, case stages, case types, lab notes, price levels, quality control issues, standard procedures, and holidays. Although these are optional, each serves a genuine purpose in case management. You can find guiding information for each in the online user manual that is available by clicking the Help button. From Online Help, you can search for specific text or proceed to the table of contents, which includes blue links to each section of the manual. You can also print as many copies of this manual as you wish. Let's next try to create a few simple cases. You can begin each new case by first selecting Cases, then New Case. Selection of a new case automatically shows the list of customers. You can double-click on a name from the list to create a case for that particular doctor. You can also use the Find Facility to find a specific doctor. On the right of the customer list are alphabetic tabs to zoom directly to whose name key begins with a specific letter. Once you choose a doctor, the case entry screen opens. In a frame to the right, there will be detailed information to confirm that you have chosen the correct customer. You will see near the top a series of 5 dates: Received, Start, End, Ship, and Request. Typically, these will be set to the current date, and you will enter the doctor's request date, if one is given, or your lab's projected date to have the case back to the doctor. Next, you will enter general information from the prescriptions, such as the patient name, shade, tooth numbers, and any additional notes for the case. You can select or enter any of the other general fields according to the standards of your lab, such as PAN code, case stage, entry by, quality control, or ship method. Once you have finished entering general information about the case, you need to specify exactly what you are planning to produce. This can be done by switching to the second tab of Case Entry, Add Items. If you have set up one or more standard procedures that apply to the case, you can select from this list. You can also custom design the case by adding, editing, and deleting items. You can choose an item from the item list. If you have not already set up a default work center, you can choose one from the work center list. Specify the quantity and the number of days it takes to complete the item. Please note, by default, the number of days to complete an item is always 1. For more information on how to predefine the standard number of days needed to complete each item, see the Items Settings section of this tutorial. Once you've selected an item to be produced and the work center, quantity, and days, click the Add button to add this item to the case items list. Continue to do this for each item as needed to complete the case. Added items can be work steps, billable items, or both. You can use the up and down arrows to rearrange items as needed. You can also delete any item that is not needed. Designing a case and building its record is a very versatile process. You can also pre-assign items to a specific technician, and you can assign a quality control issue to an item. You can mark items as completed, noting the date and technician. You also have the option to record any doctor materials. Once you've finished entering case information, you need to schedule the case. You can do this by choosing the Schedule option at the bottom. If a case is not scheduled, you are prompted to schedule it before you close the case entry screen. You can see that our item now has an assigned schedule date. This date indicates when the item should be completed. After you schedule a case, click Save to save and close the case. If you need to edit the case items at any time, you can double-click an item to review its edit screen. Here you can change information. From the case item grid, you can also right-click to see a menu of special functions that include stopping scheduling to send the case back to the doctor, changing an item, then rolling down the rest of the schedule. For more detailed information, refer to the Entering a Case section of this tutorial. Congratulations! You've just learned how to create a new case. Now, let's print a work ticket and invoice the case. You can print a work ticket by right-clicking on the case in the case list and choosing Print Work Ticket. You can also choose to print a work ticket from the Actions menu. Each work ticket includes the general information, the case items, and the schedule, the doctor's preferences, case notes, and enclosures. It provides work assignments for your technicians. For more information on printing work tickets in a batch, please see the Printing Work Ticket section of this tutorial. You can invoice the case by right-clicking on the case in the case list and then choosing Invoice Case. You can also do this from the Actions menu. From the case list of options, you can also choose Invoice Cases to invoice a batch of cases. You will be prompted to indicate the case status, such as out for try-in or finished. You can learn more about case statuses in the next section, and for now, simply click OK to accept the default case status. This is the invoice screen. It will include general case information and those items specified as billable. You can define what items are displayed on the invoice by adjusting individual item properties. For now, click Create Invoice so the invoice is transferred to QuickBooks. You can check how your invoice looks and print it by going to the QuickBooks Invoice section. In all but the starter version, you can also choose to print an invoice in DentalLab. Please note that the billable item already has tax incorporated into the total, and case fields such as patient name, shade, and tooth numbers are already on the invoice. This is the basic process of working in DentalLab. Of course, there are more features and functions that you can use in the system. You can learn more about them in the following sections of this tutorial.